Hello, everyone. Welcome back to first class for 2024. Great to have you along. I just wanted to mention tonight, as we've had a few weeks off, and also perhaps you've been out of a normal exercise routine, to just go a bit more cautiously as we ease back into the practice. So perhaps you might want to stay for a little bit less time in the pose, or just ease back in the pose. So really tune into what you're feeling. Okay, so let's make a start. I'm going to start with a simple moving meditation. So finding a comfortable sitting position. So you can sit up on a cushion, give yourself some height, or you could sit higher on a bolster, or even just on the ground is fine. So once you're sitting, just making sure you can feel your sit bones nicely connected to the ground. And then from that place, feeling the length through your spine, right up to the crown of your head, relaxing your shoulders down as much as possible. And for this one, we're going to start with our hands interlacing our fingers in front of our heart center. And we're going to do 6 rounds. It's a very simple flowing movement. So we take a breath in, and as we exhale, we press our palms forward, round through our upper back and chin to our chest. And then we breathe in and take our hands up, breathing in, and then exhale and opening out through your chest. And coming back to your chest. So that's 1 round. We're going to do 5 more. Interlacing your fingers, breathing in, exhale, pressing forward, chin to your chest. Inhale as you take your arms up, and exhale, opening out. So you can feel a nice opening through your chest, back down to your heart. For our 3rd round, breath in, and exhale, press forward. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, opening out. For our 4th round, you may like to interlace your fingers the other way. So breathing in, and exhale, press forward. Breathing in, reaching up. Exhale, opening out. And 2 more. Breath in. Exhale, press forward. Breathing in, reaching up. Exhale, feeling it opening through your chest. And 1 more. Breath in. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, opening out. And then resting your hands just anywhere on your legs or your knees. And just pausing here, you may like to close your eyes to just turn your focus inwards. Starting to tune in to your breath. You may notice the rhythm of your breath. We may notice sensations. You may feel subtle pulsation or warmth, or perhaps areas of your body that are a little bit cooler. These are all sensations. We can use our breath, observation of our breath and of sensations, to ground ourselves in the present moment, the next hour. And we can practice with kindness, just observing our thoughts, and bringing ourselves back to our breath or to sensation. And now opening your eyes if you had them closed. Just bringing yourself back to the room. And from here, we're going to move into a wall caterpillar pose to start with. So finding a wall. If you don't have a wall, you could also do this just lying on your back on the mat with your legs in the air. But I'll show you up the wall first. So finding a wall and making sure that you have some padding up against the wall and can come up in any way that you like. I'm going to turn side on here. And so I'm going to take my legs up here and swiveling my buttocks around, leaning back on my arms and taking my legs up the wall, shuffling my buttocks a little bit closer in, but it can be a little bit out, that's fine, out from the wall. And you can have your arms out to the sides of your body. Or as another option, you could bring one hand to your heart center and one hand down onto your belly. So if you're comfortable in wall caterpillar staying there, I will just demonstrate the other option if you don't have a wall. You can lie just flat on your back and take your legs up in the air with your knees slightly bent here. You could also place a bolster underneath your buttocks. Some students prefer that. Take your legs up from there. So wherever you're working, let's all take one deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with that ah sound. And this is called the practice of sighing. Really good practice that you can use at any time, really, just to help ground and center your energy. Let's take one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. So in Yin, we are staying relatively still in each pose for up to 5 minutes in most poses. Some are a little bit shorter. And we can use our breath to soften. And when we stay still and soften, we can start to access the yin tissue of our body. So the connective tissue, the fascia, this web that runs right through our body, around the muscles, around the organs. It includes ligaments and tendons through the joints as well. We're supporting the flow of energy through the fascia, which tends to harden as we get older. We're restoring energy flow to the fascia of our body for health and well-being. Staying connected with your breath or with the sensations in your body. So you simply observe any thoughts that arise. Guide yourself back to your breath. Now let's start to make our way out of the pose. So we're going to bring our legs and our knees down towards our chest, into our chest, and wrap our arms around our knees and just pause here. Noticing any sensations in your legs, your feet. We're just feeling the rebound here, lying down. This is the release of energy that happens when we come out of the yin pose. Feel a bit like a floodgate opening. We all feel it in different ways. Right now I'm feeling a little bit more warmth in my feet than before the pose. And now let's roll to one side and use the support of your arms to bring yourself up to, going to come from here into a sitting position. So take a hold of your square cushion to sit on. And you may like to have a couple of blocks and a bolster handy as we move into half butterfly pose. One we haven't done a lot of. Going to do it tonight. So taking your left leg out long and bringing your right foot in towards your left inner thigh. So you're bending into this knee. So the full butterfly pose, we fold forward from here. So if you have a tendency to round through your lower back, give yourself some more height by adding an extra cushion or blanket underneath your buttocks. And then a few options here. If your knee needs some support, your right knee, you can place a block or some other padding underneath your right knee. Another option is if it's feeling too much for your left hamstring down the back of your left leg, place a block underneath your left knee. Or given it's the first class, you might just like to use some supports tonight anyway to ease yourself back in. So we're folding forward. Noticing the stretch down the back of our left leg. Staying nice and relaxed through our arms, our shoulders, so we're not straining forward. It's just a nice relaxed. letting the weight go down into the legs, to the buttocks. The final option could be to use a bolster close into your body. If you're looking for a little bit more rounding through your spine, you could come over the bolster. You can always change your option at any time as we move through the pose. If you do experience any pain or any sharp stabbing sensations or too much sensation, they're all signs that you need to come out and review and try a more supported option. You're always welcome to chat to me after class. Let's all tune back into our breath if you're not already there. And using your breath here to soften as you exhale. And let's take 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And now very slowly start to roll up through your spine. And just coming up, give yourself a little bit of time to orient yourself with your room. Remove your props to one side and we're going to head straight over to the other side and then we'll feel the rebound at the end. So swapping to your right leg out in front and left foot to your right inner thigh. Using any supports you need under your knees, or if you can think of any other options as well, feel free to make your own. And coming forward, surrounding through your spine as we fold forward. Yin, it's a practice which invites us to sit in stillness. And the new year can be a time where we might be contemplating new things. There can be a bit of a New Year rush in society or New Year push. And whenever we rush or push too much or go too quickly, particularly with making changes to our body, changes to exercise routines, generally it's not sustainable longer term. So in Yin, it's like this gradual easing, this gradual approach. And it allows us to sit in stillness where we might contemplate rather than rush in. or want a quick fix. Generally, they don't work. So it's a really good practice that can interweave into daily life the themes that we do in Yin. Encourage us to pause so we can make good choices for our well-being. It's certainly helped me immensely, the practice of Yin, in my daily life. And I wish that for you as well. Let's take 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And very slowly, let's start to roll up. Just allowing yourself to orient with the room, releasing any props when you're ready. Taking your legs out long, and let's just do a windshield wiper, leaning back on your hands, putting your feet a bit wider than your hips and dropping one knee into the center at a time. And when you're ready, take your legs out long. You can lean back on your hands, or if it's too much for your wrists, you can simply sit forward. And let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Ah. We'll do one more of those, but just another option. You might like to sit with your knees bent if this feels more comfortable. So a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. It's all about finding the most comfortable option for you. Mm. And let's leave the rebound now. So from here, we're going to head into a toe squat to start with. Then we'll move into a regular squatting position and then into a dangling pose. Okay. So starting with toe squat, making sure you've got some padding underneath your knees here. Coming up onto your knees and untucking your toes. So we're working into our toes and our feet, noticing how that feels. And if you know the progression to go deeper and you know your limit, head on at your own pace. Otherwise, you could, as a second option, place a couple of blocks in between your thighs here. So I'm sitting back on a couple of blocks. That's a bit of a deeper stretch. Or simply sitting back on towards your heels. Just noticing the sensations in your feet, in your toes. Perhaps even in your legs. Perhaps something is shifting down through your legs. That's something that I notice in this position. We'll have individual experience. Let's stay for just 2 more breaths if you feel okay. just in your own time. Now releasing your feet, and let's rest just for a couple of breaths down into a child's pose. So you're dropping your buttocks towards your heels. Your version of child's pose where you can allow the weight of your body to ground into the mat. Let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an Now let's come back up. And from here, coming into a squatting position. So you can come in any way you like, or you could come from sitting by bringing your feet in and lifting up through your buttocks, but any way is fine. Okay, so taking your feet as wide apart as it feels comfortable. And you can rest your arms in between your knees or over your knees, depending on your body. If your heels don't touch the ground, that's fine. You could use a couple of supports, so you could place a couple of blocks underneath each heel or some padding for a softer option. And if none of these are comfortable, you could also try bringing your feet together. Either be on your toes, or you could rest your feet down, wrap your arms around your legs. So you're still getting the stretch into your ankles, it's down the front of your shins as well. So tuning into your body. We'll just be here for about another 30 seconds. Noticing your breath. And then grounding through your feet. Feeling that connection of your feet to your mat. And from here, we're going to head up into dangling. Now, if you have high blood pressure, you may like to avoid this pose. So coming into dangling, placing your fists on the ground and bringing your feet in, turn side on so you can see, and then lifting up through your buttocks. Bring your elbows to your knees here. So I'm going to keep the knees a little bit bent. We're wanting to start to feel it down the back of our legs. So I do have mine relatively bent, but notice what you can feel. You can start to straighten your legs a little bit to get that sensation. If you do feel, we're going to do 2 rounds of this. So if you feel like you just want to head straight into a dangle and drop your head, you can head there. Otherwise, we can ease into it by staying on our knees. Let's see how it feels for your head. Keep your breath flowing. And now let's drop our buttocks back down. We come back into a squatting position as you were before. Feeling your feet connected to your mat. And tuning into your breath, noticing any sensations after moving from dangling back to squat. And from here, let's head up one more time, fist to the ground, bringing your feet in and lifting up through your buttocks. And come onto your knees again, goes onto your knees. Or if you're heading into the full dangle, you can allow your head to drop. Really feeling the weight in your legs. Always come back up to your knees if it's too much for your head to drop, to be dangling right down. You can soften through your back. If you are dangling right down, you may like to shake your head just gently from side to side or move through your shoulders. And now let's release our buttocks down. And we're going to come down onto our backs. Getting right down onto your back. And once you reach the ground, let's do a windshield wiper here, placing our feet hip width apart with our knees bent and dropping one knee into the center at a time. And let's take our legs out long just for a mini rest. Taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just feeling the weight of your body connected to your mat. Let's do one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. From here, we're going to turn over onto our belly. We're lying down, rolling over and moving into Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, for the full Sphinx pose, bringing our elbows roughly underneath our shoulders, our forearms and hands on the mat out in front. Notice how this feels for your lumbar spine, your lower back. An option here is to take your elbows a little bit out to the sides, if that feels more comfortable. If it's feeling too much for your lumbar spine, you could bring a bolster underneath your chest. This will lessen the compression in your lower back. Over the bolster. Or if you're feeling like you need a little bit to go a little bit deeper, you could come on top of your bolster. And bringing your arms on top of your bolster. And as another option, you could add a Sphinx meets half frog by bending into, let's do our left knee first. And bringing your left knee towards your left hip. Just noticing how that feels, if that option is right for you or not. If you're up on the bolster, maybe you need to go lower if you're adding a half frog. We're really feeling and honouring what your body needs. Tuning into your breath. Noticing where you can soften. Sending your breath to that area. Let's take our left leg back down if you're in the half frog and bend into your right knee. See if this feels a bit different to the other side. To make any subtle adjustments so you find that juicy position that's just right for you. And softening as you exhale. Taking 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. Releasing your right leg back down. Releasing any props to one side. And let's rest down onto our belly. Placing our arms in front, resting your forehead onto your hands. Taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. Coming back to a couple of natural breaths. Let's do one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. And from here, let's turn over onto our backs. We're going to work into a reclined twist. So if you have a preferred twist, head on in at your own pace. Otherwise, following along. Once you're on your back, bringing your knees into your chest, taking your arms out to the sides at shoulder height. And so pinning your shoulders down, so pinning your left shoulder down, and we're going to drop our knees over to the right side. You may need to shuffle your hips a little bit to the left. And from here, if you feel like you need a little bit of support, if your knees are hovering off the ground, you can use a bolster or a blanket to rest your knees on. You can also experiment with the positioning of your knees. So you can deepen the twist by bringing your knees closer to your torso. Lessen the twist by taking them further away. You might also like to cactus your arms by bending into your elbows. Just to feel a nice opening across your chest. And if it's okay for your neck, you can look over to your left side. or anyone looking for deepening into twisted roots, you can bring your knees back to the center and cross your left leg over your right and tuck your right foot under your left foot under your right calf and drop your knees over to the right. You can also rest your knees on a bolster. Wherever you're working, you're softening as you exhale. Particularly softening through your legs, all the way down to your feet and your toes. Just observing what you can feel. You are aware and present as we're in stillness. Taking 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And bringing your knees back up to the center. And let's head straight over to the other side. Feel free to do a little bit of movement if you feel like you need to. We always have a permission in class to move at any time that feels right for you. And when you're ready, bringing your knees into your chest, arms out to the sides at shoulder height, and dropping your knees over to the left, keeping your right shoulder blade grounded on your mat, shuffling your hips a little bit to the left if need be. You can add bolster support underneath your knees. You can cactus your arms, shifting the positioning of your knees to find that nice juicy twist. Or deepening into twisted roots if you're working there. As we go along in the twist, just making any subtle adjustments, subtle shifts in your body to embody your well-being in the pose. Just being present with your breath, with sensations. You're just right here. Allowing any thoughts to just pass by. Coming back to your breath. Use the practice of Yin to benefit our body as well as our mind. The observation of thoughts can help create a more relaxed, a more rested mind. Just like anything that takes practice. And taking 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And then bringing your knees back up to the center. Placing your arms down. Like to bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your knees and gently rock. Good rock. Or you may like to circle your knees to the sides. See what your body feels like. If you're circling, you can then go back in the opposite direction. And then when you've finished your movement, let's prepare for Shavasana, our final resting pose. So depending on the temperature of your house, you may like to put extra layers on, or you could put a thin blanket over you. You can lie straight down on your back, or you could lie with your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor, or you could lie with a bolster underneath your knees. This can feel quite nice. If it's the right height, your bolster, feel quite nice for energy flow down your legs, out of your pelvis. And once you're in a comfortable position, let's just do one more side. We're going to take one more deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just notice the whole weight of your body on your mat. I'm going to guide you in a white light cleansing meditation. So if this does not feel right for you, feel free to let my words wash over you. Start by bringing your awareness to the soles of your feet and visualize or sensing white light streaming into the soles of your feet, your toes and the tops of your feet. We're doing both sides at the same time. As this light fills your feet, it cleanses your feet, purifies your feet. Now noticing your heels in contact with the ground. And this white light streams into your ankles and moves up your lower legs, cleansing and purifying. detoxifying any impurities in your ankles and lower legs. Now noticing the backs of your calves, the part which is touching the ground. This white light streams and fills your knees, cleansing and purifying your knees. Moves up into your thighs, front, back, all the way through your thighs. White light. It's crystal in nature, clear. Now this light moves into your buttocks, breathing into your buttocks, into your pelvic bowl, base of your body. White, pure light, detoxifying these areas. Now noticing the part of your buttocks that is touching the ground, just being aware of that. This white light moves up to your lower back, now starts to move all the way up your torso, cleansing and clearing. All through your rib cage, to the middle of your back, upper back, right up through your chest and your heart center. Clearing and cleansing your whole torso. This white light now moves, streams through your shoulders, tops of your shoulders, your shoulder blades, in between your shoulder blades, and now starts to move down your arms, streaming in and clearing, purifying your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, wrists, hands, and all the way down to your fingertips. White, pure light, cleansing your arms and shoulders. Now just noticing your shoulder blades in contact with the ground. Also any parts of the back of your hands or your arms that are in contact with the ground. Now this white light clears through your neck, front and back, your throat, streams in, and cleanses your neck and throat into your jaw, now up into your whole face. Your whole face to the sides of your head, white light, and your ears clearing right through to the top of your head, streaming in and cleansing and finishing at the back of your head. And now just noticing the back of your head in contact with the ground. And now leaving the white light. And now bringing your awareness to the parts of your body that are connected to your mat. So you are grounded and connected to the earth. Feeling those parts. Resting in this space. For just a few more moments. Now let's start to come back. Let's bring some movement to our fingers, toes, to our hands, arms, legs, to take a big stretch out, arms above your head, stretch right down into your feet, and then release and roll to one side. Rest on your arm as a pillow, or you could use a pillow. Use the support of your arms to bring yourself back up. Coming up to a comfortable sitting position, and let's bring our hands into prayer position at our heart center and bow our head towards our heart. Just taking a moment here to honor yourself for coming in and giving yourself some New Year Yin Yoga. And let's honor others who are practicing in the group this week. And let's honor our sacred earth, the beautiful earth which we all share. Gives us ground for our individual experience of life. And together, let's say namaste. Namaste. Hey, if you have any questions, do feel free to contact me for a chat. Otherwise, I wish you well for the beginning of 2024. We'll see where it heads. Okay, enjoy your week. Okay, take care. Bye.